Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. So first thing I want to let you know is that there is a wider range of times available on my schedule for Akashic Records readings. So before I was limited to doing them in the evenings, but now I've got morning times available, afternoon times available. And if you guys don't see something on the schedule that quite works out for you, feel free to reach out to me and we'll see if we can't get something set up outside of those scheduled hours. So since the last video I made, dream time has been on my mind quite a bit. And I know that you guys have reaffirmed for me that a lot of you are going through the same changes in dream times that I am. So I just wanted to bring some things to your attention that can increase your retention of those dreams and in the dream itself have more opportunities to become lucid or to, decode the symbolism or the messages given within those dreams, because there is a lot of communication going on in dream time, and it's important for us to bring that experience back with us the best we can so that we can, study our experience and see if there's anything the guides want us to avoid, or maybe they're giving us something to look forward to, something to keep working for. Dreamtime has so many applications in our daily life that it's important that we do our best to experience that dream time properly and then bring the dream back with us for us to study as long as possible. So, first thing I want to say is that a vivid dream and a lucid dream are completely different things. So you can be having a vivid dream fully invested and engaged in whatever experience you're having, but the dream is kind of on rails, meaning that it's going to follow a certain path regardless of your influence or your involvement consciously. And then you have lucid dreams where you're in a certain scenario or environment and you wake up understanding that you were in a dream, and then you could just kind of take over from there. So both types of dreams are fun and they have their purpose. Obviously, the lucid dreaming is what we want to focus on, and it's something that a lot of us have been working for a very long time. And there's nothing quite like that first initial lucid dream. It can, be a real game changer for a lot of you. And the number one thing that you can do to increase your chances of having lucid dream, if you're not doing anything else, is to study lucid dreaming. Study lucid dreaming 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed so that it's fresh in your consciousness, and the likelihood of you entering a dream time and then waking up from that, knowing that, this is what you've been working for, studying for, it just kind of all comes together. And if you haven't had a dream where you wake up consciously and can take over and do whatever you want after that, that's something at this point you should really bear down and focus on accomplishing, because it's more available now than it has been before. And just a heads up, the way that I lucid dream, the first lucid dream I had, and several times after that, most of the time it is an uncomfortable situation that I find myself in. So the very first lucid dream I had, I was in a car that no longer belonged to me, and then I started to panic because I'm like, this isn't my car anymore. I just stole this car. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. You start playing through that over your head. How am I going to explain this and get out of this one? But then your consciousness steps in and says, oh, this is a dream. This isn't a car that belongs to me anymore. This must be a dream. So you kind of work yourself out of that unconscious state, and then you become consciously engaged in the dream. So what happened to me during that dream is when I became awake, I actually crashed the car and woke up. So I didn't have a long time to process what I was going through, but it left such a profound impact that it made it easy and likely for me to wake up in dreams from that point forward. And if it's a dream that's vivid enough, I'm likely to wake up in it. Sometimes I don't, and that's fine. vivid dreams or lucid dreams can often make you very tired. So something you have to adjust to as far as that goes as well. But my second lucid dream was also a very fearful, frustrating scenario. I was in a haunted house and there was like demons around. So when I started to panic, I started to engage on a conscious level saying, this is the dream, and then, boom, pop out and change the scenario in whatever way I want it. And it's kind of like you get to the point where you start to look forward to those uncomfortable dreams because you're more likely to wake up in those dreams. I'm having dreams recently where my sister, who passed away in 2013, makes an appearance in my dream, and that just automatically makes me lucid because I can see that, hey, she shouldn't be here, or she's here, but she's looking, acting, and interacting with the dream differently than everybody else is. So that's an automatic trigger for me to wake up. So I can stay there and chat with her, which I often do, but usually that's just the trigger for me to fly up and, do whatever I want. Usually first thing I do is start to levitate and fly. Doing that in a dream automatically is a lot of fun, but when you're consciously able to do that, able to, actually feel that it's your intention and your focus that gets you up in the air and moving, it's a lot of fun. It's a very unique experience as well. But, even the best lucid dreamers are not going to lucid dream every night. The best lucid dreamers are going to lucid dream 2 or 3 times a night, or 2 or 3 times a week at most. But the vivid dreams you're having are just as important as the lucid dream experience. So how much of those vivid dreams can we retain? And once we have retained that dream, what can we do with the information we've gathered? So I've kind of been experimenting on myself. I've gone through a period of time here where I'm dreaming, vividly 2 or 3 or 4 different scenarios every night, fully engaged in those experiences to the point where I wake up and whatever I'm experiencing in the dream time, emotionally and mentally, has carried over. So if you're in an intense dream, you'll wake up and you will notice that your cells are very excited, as if they're personally experiencing in the physical what you were seeing in the dream. That's how you know that the emotional body and some of these other things are engaged in the experience in the way they should. That will help you retain dreams, regardless of you making the effort to study them and, dissect them and look for the meaning and the symbolism in them. So what I've been doing, actually I've done 3 tests on myself. Number 1, I had a lucid dream, and I immediately after waking up, immediately after becoming conscious in this vessel again, while my emotional body was still engaged and invested and very much in alignment with the experience I was having, I start to replay the dream. I remember every detail of the dream. I study the people I was experiencing in the dream. I, make note of the location I was in, any objects, any sounds, smells, or, anything that might represent something here to me. I take note, and I don't use dream journals. That hasn't really worked for me. While I'm still invested emotionally in the experience, I replay the experience. And every time I do that, I'm able to recall the dream detail by detail in the entirety of its experience throughout the day and beyond. So this study I did on myself in dream time was actually a few weeks ago. So that first dream I had retained full knowledge of what was happening in that dream. So in that dream, it was a family barbecue, and my brothers and my sister was there, and that triggered me to become lucid, which made it even more impactful. But the fact that I was able to retain the details of what was going on before coming lucid, lets me know that that's a very effective way to retain dreams and to study dreams and decode them. So later on in the week, I had more vivid dreams, but I didn't make an effort to retain them immediately after waking up. So I waited 2 hours, and then I started to think about the dream. I started to kind of dissect what I had still retained at that point. So a few hours go by, I take a look and study what's left, but because my emotional body was no longer engaged in the experience, what I came back with was probably about 5 or 10% retention of what I had experienced, to the point where it made such a huge difference that a few days later I could no longer tell you what that dream was at all. You feel like it's right on the tip of your tongue, and it should be something that is embedded in your memory to the point where you can call it forward. But because I didn't stop right away and study that dream and relive that dream, get the emotions engaged in the way that they were, I didn't retain hardly any of it. And after a few days, it was completely gone. So the dream before, full memory, full retention. I can go and relive that scenario that I was in right now in full detail, the way I saw it before. But the second dream, where I gave myself a 2-hour break before processing, nothing came back. I did a third experiment with a vivid dream, just as vivid as the first two. But this time I didn't immediately process the dream and study the dream. I didn't wait a few hours. I just tried to think about it throughout the day. And, there was just nothing there for me to look at. I knew I had dreamed. I knew I had dreamed vividly to the point where I should have some remembrance of what the experience was. But there was just nothing there for me to look at anymore. It was not, it was not retainable. And me being able to look back and remember what that dream was would pretty much be based on something in my waking life triggering me with a memory. So sometimes you'll be in a situation in life and you'll go, oh, I had a dream like that, So it's not ideal, especially for someone like me who doesn't use a dream journal. I don't know why. I've just never been able to stick with that. My approach is that I like to sit down immediately after waking up, study the dream, relive the dream, recall the emotions I was experiencing, even if it's an ugly dream, even if it's a dream that we would consider negative here. That way I study it. I can, during the day, go back and relive and take a look at some things if I want to. Whatever lesson was there to be learned, whatever message the guides wanted to give back was there for me to look at and think about. But I pretty much move on from that dream the next day, opening the door for a new experience. I haven't really found it necessary to go back and look at dreams days or weeks later. Maybe some of you are doing that and that's worked for you, but that's not been the situation for me. My dream retention is 100% based on studying the dream immediately after waking up. This opens the door for more vivid dreams and lucid dreams going forward, because you're making a point to study and engage in the experience post what you had in the dream itself. And this is something that can be really hard to do, because a lot of us are waking up and have to hit the ground running so fast that we barely take any time to consider or think about the dream. But it's about making a conscious effort to study that very important experience. It's going to reprogram you subconsciously to be more active and involved in dream time and to be lucid when the situation calls for it. And we are meant to enter that multidimensional state with goals in mind and things that we're wanting to accomplish. So you can practice reality there. You can study yourself there. You can learn what's in your Akashic records in your dream. You can receive intuition and precognition from the guides. You can get a glimpse at future timeline. It's not just about processing karma, and it's much more than randomness that we're experiencing. And those who are working with energy and looking to calibrate themselves to be multidimensional in a linear state of being, dream time is a very important part of that. And I would love some feedback from you guys. What techniques, what approach are you taking to dream time that allows you to have more lucid, more vivid dreams, but also to retain the information you're receiving there so that you can have a look at it and study it as you need. I would love to get some feedback from you guys. Please leave a like on the way out, and I will see you soon. Thank you.